Hi friends, so today you're going to need your Small Wonders book and your Turn book, okay? And we're going to keep working on theme. So by now we should be able to identify the theme, which is the life lesson, the moral, the message in the story, okay? And then we are looking for those supporting details that helped us figure out the theme. Okay, so you're also going to, in your turn book, you are going to want to turn to page 252. 252 in your turn book. Okay, so we've got our graphic organizer, page 252. Hello, making it big, sorry. That page we will be using as we're reading. And then in your Small Wonders book, you are turning to page 406. Now this is a genre that is new to us. It's a myth, a drama, a play. Okay, so again, page 406. Athena and Arachne, okay? So as we're reading it, it's gonna look a little different. Up at the top, we notice there are characters. So the characters in this story are the narrator, that's the person that's telling the story, right? Then we have Arachne, and they show you how to pronounce it, Arachne. And she's a weaver, okay? So a weaver looks like they're weaving rugs or blankets. Diana, then it gives us like a little definition of who they are. Diana is Arachne's friend. Athena is a Greek goddess. And then there's a messenger. So the messenger is just someone that's delivering something, okay? So as we're reading, it's gonna look a little different because it's a play. Next to each character is the dialogue, is what they would say if it were a play. So you're gonna go ahead and read along with me. If you wanna use different voices for the different people, that's always fun. If you just wanna read it, that's fine too. But remember, we are thinking of, at the end of this story, the theme. So how is it going to make us, remember, a theme is something that's gonna make us a better person. So at the end of this, it's not going to be weaving a rug is fun, even though that might be what she loves to do. That doesn't make us a better person, okay? So we have to be deep thinkers and really dig in to what they're trying to teach us, okay? All right, so you should have that graphic organizer, page 252 next to you. We will probably do that at the end, but we will stop and talk about any detail that might help us come up with the theme. All right. So scene 1, Athens, Greece, a long time ago at Arachne's home. Okay, so we have to kind of visualize this. It's a long time ago in Athens, Greece, and we're at Arachne's home. And we don't have to say who's speaking. So we don't say narrator, and then we just read. Long ago, Arachne and her friend Diana sat weaving. Oh, Arachne, that cloth is so beautiful. Arachne admires her cloth. Let me see what that looks like. I know many people want to possess my cloth, but few can afford it. Only those with great wealth can buy it. Let's stop and think about what we're kind of learning from both of these characters. So Diana, I don't know which one is Diana, but Diana seems very complimentary, right? She seems nice and supportive for her friend, right? But then Arachne, after she gets that nice compliment, when you get a compliment, what should you say? Thank you. But she says, I know. And then she goes on to say that everybody wants her cloth, but not many people can afford it. Think of a word that might describe her. Okay, try to think of that word and see if we can tie that into our theme. Yes, it's true that people value your cloth. It is one of their most valued possessions. Your weavings are a real treasure. Some say that you learned your weaving skills or talent from the goddess Athena. It was not necessary for me to learn from a goddess. I was born with my talent. I am a much better weaver than Athena, and I'm sure I could beat her in a weaving competition. Uh-oh, I smell trouble, do you? I don't think you want to mess with a Greek god. Diana is worried. She stops weaving and looks at Arachne. So here's that picture. So this must be Diana. We can tell from her face she's worried. And then here's Arachne just into her weaving and just so into herself, right? Shh, I hope Athena isn't listening or you're in big trouble. Nonsense. There's no reason to be alarmed or worried. Athena is much too busy to come down from Mount Olympus to meet with me. All right, so again, this genre is a myth. It's make-believe. And I don't know if you've ever seen Hercules, but all of those Greek gods, that's kind of where it comes from, Mount Olympus, where they live up in like the sky. All right, now we're on scene 2. So already, what's a word? Let's stop for a minute. What's a word? Have you come up with a word yet that describes Arachne? She's really into herself. What's that called? If you like really think you're really good at something? Conceited? Yeah. And she's like, keeps talking about herself like she's so good. Do you know what that's called? Bragging, right? So now scene 2 takes place Mount Olympus, home of Athena. All right, so that's the god right here. A messenger arrives. Goddess Athena, I have news from Athens. The weaver Arachne says she can beat you in a weaving competition. She's obsessed with her skills and thinks she is the best weaver in Greece. So obsessed. That's a pretty good word to describe her too, right? All right. Athena, how do you think a Greek god would talk? I'll show her who weaves the finest cloth. Her obsession with weaving must end. Please get me my cloak. And then a messenger hands Athena her cloak. So here it is. Arachne cannot talk about me that way. If she refuses to apologize, I will make her pay for her boastful words. Her anguish will be great. All right, so boastful is another word for like bragging. Scene 3, we're back where? At Arachne's home. All right, and it says there's a knock at the door. All right, on the count of 3, let's do a knock. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Who's going to answer? Arachne. So I remember how she talks. Who's there? And then who is it? Just an old woman with a question. Athena's hiding under her cloak. She enters the room. So just picture she's got it like over, so maybe she can only see her eyes. Is it true that you challenged the goddess Athena to a weaving competition? Yes, that's right. Then what happens? Athena drops her cloak. Well, I am Athena, and I'm here to compete with you. Uh-oh. Friend. Arachne, please don't. It is unwise to compete with a goddess. Arachne and Athena sit down at the empty looms and begin to weave furiously. So if we turn back to that first page, those are the looms where they weave. Okay, so visualize that. They're both at empty looms and they're weaving frantically, crazy. And what do you know about, so again, this is make-believe, but Greek gods have powers. They're like magical. So do you think it's a good idea to compete with a Greek god? I don't know. I don't. All right. Oops, sorry. So, all right. It's Arachne. Ready? I am ready to win and get my reward. There's no prize if you lose. Arachne and Athena both wove beautiful cloths. However, Arachne's cloth was filled with pictures of the gods being unkind. All right, let's see who it is. Arachne, your weaving is beautiful, but I am insulted and upset by the pictures you chose to weave. You are boastful, and your cloth is mean and unkind. For that, I will punish you. Athena points dramatically at Arachne. All right, ready? Let's do it. Arachne falls behind her loom and crawls out as a what? A spider. So Athena has turned Arachne into a spider. Does this make sense now? Have you ever heard of an arachnid? That means spider. Arachne, you will spend the rest of your life weaving and living in your own web. All right, last part. This is the narrator. Arachne was mean and boastful, so Athena turned her into a spider. That's why spiders are now called arachnids. Arachne learned that bragging and too much pride can lead to trouble. So I am loving this myth because, guys, it pretty much tells you the theme. We could come up with our own, but it pretty much tells you the theme right here at the bottom. Take a minute, and what do you think the theme is? It's not, don't brag and you'll become a spider. Because even though in this story she became a spider, is that really going to happen? No. So we have to tie it into how it teaches us to be a better person. Okay, Arachne learned that bragging and too much pride can lead to trouble. So that is the theme. Okay, so then kind of goes back to sequencing. What are those details that led up to that in the beginning, the middle, and the end? So we know beginning would be the first one, end, and then maybe in the middle there were two examples. Okay, so stop and think about that. At the beginning of the story, what was a detail that proves that theme? Well, right at the beginning, that very first thing Arachne said, we were like, ugh, I don't like her attitude, right? When she said, many people want to possess my cloth, but few can afford it. Only those with great wealth can buy it. Okay, so at the beginning, let's write that. Okay, well then think about in the middle. Remember Diana was, well, that's kind of more about at the beginning, but Diana was worried, shh, don't talk that loud. She can hear you, right? Maybe this, there's no reason to be alarmed. Athena is much too busy to come down. Could write that one. What else? I would say that one. Okay. So when she says, we'll say Arachne tells Diana not to worry. Athena is too busy. Okay, so now I want you guys to come up with one more detail in the middle and one more detail in the end that leads to us understanding that Arachne bragged and had too much pride and that it really can lead to trouble. Okay, so that is what you are doing today, and you do not need to post it. Okay, just have mom and dad look it over, and you might even want to reread the poem with them. It might be, sorry, poem, not poem. You might want to reread the play with them and take turns doing the parts. Okay, that'll be fun. So I would suggest rereading it. If you've got some brothers and sisters at home that can read, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, babysitter, have them do it with you, and you guys pick the characters and act it out, and then you can come up with 2 more details that support your theme. Bragging and too much pride can lead to trouble. Okay, so think about what that trouble was for Arachne. All right, I'll talk to you later.